Hey YouTube. So I'm making this video about this new bike that I picked up about a month ago. And I'm super impressed with it, so I just kind of wanted to share that in case other people are shopping for a road bike that they would love to break into semi-professional biking without breaking the bank. This is the Specialized Allez comp. There's several different models of the Allez. This one is an aluminum frame with a carbon fork on it. This is the Fact carbon fork. Nice match on the paint job. Sorry I didn't clean this bike at all. I've been riding the crap out of this bike for the last month or so, training for a century here in New Mexico. So I've been doing a ton of elevation, a couple thousand to 4,000 feet of elevation. And the gearing on this bike is perfect. There's not really one thing that I dislike about this bike, and I really just wanted to shout out and tell everyone, man, this is a really incredible bike for the money. The only change that I've made to this bike is I put my old Zertz carbon seat post on it from a Roubaix. I also have a Roubaix, and I don't love it nearly as much as I like this bike. This is an aluminum frame bike that rides a lot like some of the old steel or some of the early French bikes that I used to ride, vintage French frames with a bunch of old campy gear, and they were kind of noodly and fun to ride and compliant. And one of the things that I love about this bike is it's an aluminum frame bike, but it rides really soft. It's stiff enough to be responsive, but it's not overly stiff like some of the earlier models of the aluminum frames. The 105 drivetrain is 2x11, which I love. You get rid of that crappy triple, which I have on the Roubaix, which seems like I always have like sort of a fishing around, looking for that middle range to run right. So that gets rid of all that. You have hard limits for your gears. Plenty of gearing to climb the hills. Super cool compliant ride. These little delicate down tubes here make for some nice flex. If you add a little bit of a flexible seat post, it's even better. The front fork eats up tons of the slack. All the 105 gear runs perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for any better setup. They've made some changes to the gear shifts. They're pretty buttery soft. You don't have a delicate top cap on here, so you can flip the bike over and not tear up your top caps. It's got the hidden cabling here. They've got the rear entrance from the gear shifts down, so you don't have all that cabling out in front. It's got an internal run for the brake line headed to the rear. Just a really great bike, and I just wanted to make this quick little video in case people want to buy a bike for $1,000, $1,200. I think I got this one for $900 from a guy who just didn't want, he needed to pay the bills. I put some gator skins on here, some 25s, rides killer with 25s. The rims on this are 17 wide, which is kind of cool. It balloons out the tire a little bit, so you have a little bit wider ride to it. The brakes are not super ultra fantastic, but I'm not complaining about them. They're, you could replace them with something better, but they're predictable. They work great. I flipped the neck to raise the configuration a little bit, just to keep me up in the air. It's got nice short drop bars. Got a nice platform here to land on for your hands. Just a really great bike overall. It has the same geometry as the Tarmac, the graphite model. That's super high end. Lays down the power great. You pop down into a lower gear and this bike just wants to go. It's a super fast, lovely, compliant ride, and I can't say enough about it. So if you guys are looking for a cool mid-range price bike, but that rides like something that costs $5,000, and I really mean that. It rides as good as any $5,000 or $7,000 bike out there. The wheels are a little heavy. They could be replaced by any number of zips or something else beautiful. The roads that I ride on are super rough, so having all these extra spokes and the beefiness in them is actually fine for me, and I'm not that much of a speed junkie that I need to have that extra acceleration of the lighter rotational mass of a good set of wheels. But I mean, if you put a good set of wheels on here, this bike would just be astounding in terms of sprinting, and that's like my only upgrade that I would put on here in the future outside of the seat post. So that's all I have to say. Just wanted to give a big positive shout out to the Specialized crew. Amazing design, really great bike that functions in every way for hill climbing, straight runs, everything. So that's it. Hope you guys are having a good day and keep on riding. Take care.